Filipino because every single Filipino who has participated on this journey have been so helpful. They've taught me so much. They've taught me patience and kindness and generosity and really what it's like to be a woman. I'd say prior to joining Miss World Philippines, I was still growing up a bit, and I think becoming Miss World Philippines was really the coming of age mark for me to becoming a woman. And I have tried my best in every situation that God has put me through, good and bad. I have reflected mornings and nights and prayed. I prayed whenever I had my free time. And just asking for guidance in specific situations that tend to happen. But of course, anything worth it does not come easy. You have to sacrifice, put in the work. You have to break certain connections because when you're the person going out representing an entire country, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to showcase the best version of yourself, the best of the country. You need to be prepared with anything that comes your way. It's like a chess game. You have to think 3 steps ahead. And as challenging as it is, I'm here again, wearing the Philippine sash over my heart, ish, because it's on the left side. But wearing the Philippine sash, and then of course the crown representing all of the Filipinos, not just the Filipino woman, but all Filipinos. And that's one of the most humblest honors I'll ever have. This is a venture of a lifetime, as I've said, and I'm very excited. I am a lot more calm in person than I am in my head and in my heart. There's so many emotions going on, but as I go and compete, and sana ako yung mananalo, and I bring home the blue crown, I'm going to give my best, I promise. Regardless, I already feel like a winner because of everybody here. All of the Filipinos, when I go walk out in the mall, when I meet anyone and they're so excited and they're like, a picture po, I'm like, why? And then I realize, oh, I'm Miss World Philippines. And I didn't understand at first na bakit gusto nila ng picture sa akin. And like, when I had gone to Marawi, why are they so happy to see me? And I realized, okay, I'm a symbol. And even if I am not the first person in, for example, the armed forces, I'm not on the field fighting or sacrificing 5 years minimum to participate in the military, or I wasn't a victim of the siege in Marawi. My being there, I was questioning, why are they so happy to see me? I just coordinated everything, put everything together, had a vision, had an idea, and that's when I really understood the responsibility of being a Miss Philippines, of being a Miss World. And with that, as I told the children who I worked with in Marawi, when I'm there, when I'm in China, and I feel like crying, or if I feel like this is just too hard, they're so sweet pa. They wrote me all notes, the 4th grade class in the school I went to. I will think of their faces and I will think, kung kaya nila, kaya ko to. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. We now ask her fellow queens for some messages. Let's start off with Chanel.
Hello again. Hello. Hello again, everyone. First, good afternoon, and I'm so happy to see all of you again. And of course, my fellow queens, especially to our Miss World Philippines, Katarina, who will represent not just our country, but all of us that are present here today. So I wish you good luck. I wish you all the best. And you have a certain charisma that actually gets the attention of so many people. I don't know how you do it, but you have that certain charisma. And that is something that I admire about you. And you're so beautiful. And I think the way you think, that you're so positive and that you think that you're already a winner is actually a plus points for you. It's because when you think that you're a winner, then you can always put your best foot forward all the time. So I believe you can get home the crown for the Philippines, and we're so proud of you already, and we love you, Katarina. Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Chanel. May we now hear from Timmy.
Hi everyone. Well, we're all here to celebrate the departure of one very special person. I think I speak on behalf of everyone here when I say I'm very excited.
The departure.
Look how many people are here just to promote you, take photos of you, and show the world what the Philippines has to offer in a woman, in a Filipino woman, and someone who is Filipino. You know, it's so surreal for me to be here sitting next to you. It's crazy because this isn't something I would have seen myself doing months ago. And now I get the pleasure to speak here. And it's also surreal because I'm going to be in this position as well. So to be sitting here and to be looking up to my older sister, pageant queen, you know, Katya and I have formed some type of relationship, you know, we're a lot closer now, and so I say this as a friend, not just a fellow pageant sister, but a good friend, that I'm very proud of you, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Oh.
I feel like it's a wedding, I don't know.
Thank you, Camille, for that very emotional message.
I'll just share a quick background. Kimmy and I did not hit it off when we first met. We had a bit of a weird thing, a weird first encounter, and she just really irked me throughout this one.
Same.
But then when I'd hear her kwento to the other girls, I'm like, wow, actually she sounds like so much fun. I want to bring her out. She's the age of, well, a little bit younger than my younger brother. And then it was really funny because prior to the crowning, after the Q&A,
That was the second time we had ever talked.
the entire pageant, so over a month, we spoke about salted egg chips. And then we found out that your birthday is August 3 and I'm August 1. So we're both Leos, and we just had a quick bonding session, and she actually calmed me down because I was quite nervous after the Q&A, and just that little casual conversation calmed me. We're like, let's eat after this, and then we just clicked. And then from there, you know, I have so much love for her. I'm excited for her as well, and sometimes she's a little like aloof, but you know, you're only 18. She's only 18 and she's a lot of fun, and she's very, very happy to be here. So that's why it's a little emotional, because I'm like, I want to help her, but I'll be in my pageant. So yeah, thank you, Kimmy. And that's the background of Kimmy and I.
Thank you, girls. Next, we'd like to hear from Ms. Maureen.
Hello, maganda hapon sa inyong lahat. Thank you all for coming tonight, or today. Kat, we are all so proud of you, and we're all going to be cheering at the top of our lungs, no matter what time your pageant is airing. We know we'll all be watching. And yeah, it's been great getting to know you. I think you're definitely blooming. You're going to make the Philippines so proud. I have absolute 100% faith in you. And go get that crown for us. Make us proud. We already know you'll do your best, and you will make us proud.
Thanks, Maureen. Lastly, we'd like to hear from the Miss World Philippines General Manager, Bessie Desana.
I met Kat 2 years ago. I approached her in a club, and I told her we're partying for a fashion event. I told her she should join pageants, and I've always had the faith that she's destined to be. But she never got back to me. Never. And then I met her January of 2017. And then she finally said that she's gonna give it a try. But we had to convince her. So I sat down with her in Shangri-La and explained to her for a couple of hours why she should do pageants. She did eventually, as you all know. And that was also the point in time that I had to go with Miss World. So it was a very challenging time because I wanted to support her, but my job dictates me otherwise. When she finally told me that she's gonna pursue Miss World Philippines, it was another tough part for me because I have to be unbiased. I have to run the pageant the way it is supposed to run, fair and square to everyone. So it was very difficult. But now that she's the winner of the pageant and she's going to Miss World, I have the utmost confidence that never wavered since 2016 that she's gonna take home. I'm very emotional because I love you, Kat, and you know that. and very, very positive that you will not come home this year because you have to go straight to London, just like what Megan did. But I'll see you in January, okay? I love you very much. Congratulations already.
Thank you, Bessie. At this point, we'd like to open the floor for question and answer portion. So, anyone? Voltaire.
Congratulations, Katerina. And well, I've known her also for a couple of years now, and we've been through a lot. What is it now that you're about to leave? Have you learned that you never thought you had imagined in the past?
That's a really difficult question because I learned something every day, and I learned something with all the new people that I meet. I think if there's anything I've learned what the experience of being a queen is. So the definition of being a queen, which and by queen I mean like a royal queen. You have to be kind to everyone. You have to be brave. You need to be strong, but you have to be sweet. And it's quite difficult to be loved, respected, and feared all at the same time. If I've learned anything, it's definitely how to embody the persona of this woman, this higher woman, which actually it's impossible to be that perfect, right? But I've also learned my potentials, and I've learned, as I said in the video, that the word limit is cerebral.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Katerina.
Hi.
Okay, you are known for being a consistent performer in your... Andito ako. Okay, anyway, ulitin natin. Okay, you are known for being consistent performer in your previous competition in Asian Next Model and Miss Intercontinental. So, for Miss World, what is your game plan, or do you have a game plan?
My game plan is to really just be myself, as I have been the last two competitions I have joined, because there's always something that happens that, you know, leaves a mark, whether it be me falling into a swimming pool or you know, me sleeping for 3 days and everyone thinking I forfeited my crown. But there's always something that happens just because I do what's natural. That's really my game plan. And of course, you know, to showcase what a Filipina is to the world. 100 plus candidates is so much. It's a lot of girls. So you have to really do what you can while staying true to yourself to stand out.
Okay. You are part of the ongoing reality TV show on cable entitled The People's Queen. So, in your opinion, what aspect of the show will help you in your quest for the Miss World crown?
I think what I learned from that show was the true meaning of being a pageant queen, which is that your competition, like I said in my answer, for Miss World Philippines is yourself, it's not the other girls. And when you start comparing yourself to the other girls, you're truly wasting your time because the judges all have a preference and your focus should be on what you're doing in your actions and your next move instead of observing and analyzing everyone else, because again, staying true to yourself is the best answer. The pageants are all about women empowerment, and you cannot practice that if you're competing against the girls you're with. So I'd say the People's Queen taught me that pageantry is women empowerment and that you should create these friendships because at the end of the day, it's really up to the judges and their preference.
Okay, last. If somebody will ask, what means the world to you? What will your answer?
My grandparents, they mean the entire world to me. This whole pageant career of mine brought me closer to them. They questioned it, definitely. They found my hours weird. Like, who are all these people? Why are there so many maletas? Why are your clothes everywhere? And eventually they got it, and they've been extremely supportive. And everything that my grandmother wanted me to be, I am now, which is more conservative and a lady, and constantly practicing etiquette. So dressing appropriately, stuff like that. And my grandfather, same thing. I'm more interested in worldly things, and I involve them in my advocacies, and I really try to involve them. And they're really the world to me.
Okay, thank you, Catalina, and good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, Kat.
Hi, good morning. Are you late for your date?
No, not really. God. Really, there has to be that. Okay. Speaking from the heart, how much does winning Miss World 2018 really mean to you?
I think it means every single second of my life up until that coronation night, because I think everything I've been doing from the day I was born till now really was meant for that specific night. I suppose the first part of my life, right? Because I'm only 26. But I like to think of the Phil Collins song "In the Air Tonight," just because there's some lyrics that stuck in my head that I've been waiting for this moment all my life. And this Miss World journey that I'm on, it's, you always question in life, like, why did this happen? Why am I doing this? I thought I wanted this career, but why am I here? And I had that a lot. I had cold feet often, whether it looked like it or not. But, this crown, it means all of those moments and experiences. And not just for me, but I think for the Philippines. I think it's the time of the Filipino people, not just in pageantry, but in politics, in sports, in medicine, in just every aspect. Like I said, we live in the world's best kept secret. Our people are naturally hospitable and kind and brave, and it's really our time. The lands are, we have rich biodiversities, as I've said, and it's the perfect time to be a Filipino.
One last question, Kat. I'm just very curious. How did you prepare for the sports challenge? Because it's one of the toughest in this world.
Honestly, I'd say I unconsciously was preparing for it. Like my first answer, I'm an athlete. My first love was long distance running, competitive long distance running. So every day was very routine and very boring because I trained twice a day, slept, ate. I was very robotic, very uninspirational, but I loved running. And I think that it's very natural to me now to be athletic. In terms of swimming, I love surfing, and I think my my hobby of surfing prepared me for the swimming portion. And I'm just, if you followed me on Instagram since 2014 and my top model journey, you'd see I was even working out in the model house. So I continued that, and anything physical is actually mental. So when you're there and if it's a race or whatever, it's really all mental. And if you believe you can do it, you can do it.
Thanks, Kat, and hopefully you have some winter clothes in your luggage.
Sorry?
You have some winter clothes.
Winter
inside your
clothes?
luggage.
I hope you enjoy your date later if you can wear one.
My God.
Thank you.
Hello, Kat.
Hi!
And best of luck before anything else. This Miss World Philippines is not your first national pageant. Miss World is not your first international pageant. So how did you, what kind of adjustments did you do in stepping up for your preparations now for Miss World?
Well, the time for your preparations is surely shorter, and the Miss World Philippines organization is completely different from Binibining Pilipinas. So, the support that I have, it's different. The manner in which they work, it's different. And I think even if I have gone through it, because of the differences, you also have to make adjustments, and you can't really have expectations, especially the planning part. The one thing I really wanted was time for myself prior to leaving, so I made sure to allocate time for myself with my best friend, with my family. Yeah, and get a massage, stuff like that, because when you're going to leave, I'll be leaving when I'm going to leave, which is for a month. That's a long time. So You know, I was gone 2 weeks last time. This is double, and it's really endurance. So I know naman what to expect in terms of preparation. And again, you have to be overly prepared because you'll never know what happens.
Yes. And my other question is, the final question is, Miss World is always the same, more or less. It's just paraphrased. So if you will be asked that final question, why should you be the next Miss World?
I would have to say that I should be the next Miss World because I know my potentials and I know the potentials of my country and the Filipinos, and exactly that the word limit is cerebral. And I think right now in this world we need somebody who's optimistic, who understands that impossibilities are just, it's just a word. And with that said, this world now, with everything going on, needs that little bit of, you know, sunshine, if you will. And I think I can be that. Thank you.
Bring home the crown. Thank you.
I will try.
Thank you, JD. Kim?
Hello, Kat. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hello. So my question is, what's your plan? You know, after Miss World Philippines and maybe Miss World after your reign.
So when I win, then I have to reign for a year with Miss World, and I think I'm gonna learn a lot and grow a lot. I think at the end of it, I'll surely be twice the person I am now. Then after that, I would like to definitely continue with my Beauty with a Purpose project, because if you've been to Marawi, you can see that that's gonna take years to redevelop. And that's happening everywhere. That's happening in Syria multiplied. That's happening in many different third world countries. And I promised myself that before I have my own children, I really want to be a mother. That's my dream. It's something that I just feel. I want to get married. I know I don't have a boyfriend, but I want to get married. Well, he'll come and have children. So that would ideally be my plan. But I told myself prior to having my own children, I need to give back to this world because I feel that it's my responsibility. And so I'm a philo major, and I can't remember the exact philosophy, but it's by Jean-Paul Sartre. He says something like, when you have enough and then you have more, you give. I have enough and I have a little bit more, so this is my time to give. So yeah, I'd say to make sure that I do what I can to help, find a boyfriend, and then get married, and then have children. Thank you.
Hi, Katarina here. Armin Adila from The Inquirer. What do you want to achieve with the Miss World crown? What do you want to give to the Philippines using the Miss World crown that you will be winning in China in December?
Thank you for that question. Aside from giving the Philippines a second blue crown, I would like to definitely shed light back on Marawi. The reason why I hold Marawi close to my heart is because I'm from Mindanao, and my peace advocacy started with Binibining Pilipinas, and it developed from there. Prior to the screening of Miss World, I kind of locked myself in the island, Siargao. I stayed there, I wasn't answering anything, and I was really contemplating what my BWAP would be. And when I finally made my first trip to Marawi, anyone who goes, there's this automatic, indescribable connection you have to the place, to the people. It's so surreal. It's like you're in a parallel universe. It's like you're in a different country. It's like you're off from zombie movie set. It's devastating. But it's extremely hopeful. As much as it's devastating, it's twice as hopeful, because the children there, the people there, they're incredible. They're exactly what resilience is. And I think, again, what's happening in Marawi, it's so timely because it's happening everywhere, especially now that we're 8 billion people in this world, roughly. So imagine what 8 billion people could accomplish if we all learned to love and respect one another. And when I win this world, I want to shed back light on Marawi, because everyone in the world knew what happened last 2017, and use the redevelopment of Marawi as an example to the rest of the world, how we should move forward with our lives And the thing is, it's very contextual, depending on what community you live in or what country you live in, how you run for the head of the country, so the president, etc., how you run your country, it depends on the agriculture, the religion. There's so many, again, it's contextual, so yeah, it's quite complicated. But I believe it's possible. It's extremely possible. And I don't like that people stop talking about Marawi. It's like, okay, the ice is out, everything's fine, the war is done, there's no violence, but that is just the beginning. That is just the start of what hopefully is not a 15-year redevelopment. When I walked, I got off the convoy and I walked around Ground Zero, the most affected area, and I just couldn't grasp anything. There was a school that was completely turned over. There were little chinelas road of a little girl and a little boy have pictures. No photo, no video can show what happened. 300,000 people were affected. 74,000 families displaced. These people cannot go home. There's no home. And when you meet them, especially the children, they're the sweetest children. Sobrang maayos sila. And they're very optimistic and positive. So, I don't know, that just sparked something in me. And if I never get married and never have my own children, if I don't win the Miss World crown, still I want to win it, that's okay because I found my purpose. And I thought I knew my purpose prior, but I really think that is my purpose. Thank you.
Let's go to something lighter. I don't know if you've heard about observations that you have a similar look to Priyanka Chopra, a former Miss World who's now a Hollywood star and soon to be married to Nick Jonas. How do you respond to this observation that medyo kamukha mo daw si Priyanka?
Well, first of all, I am Nick Jonas' age. He was my celebrity crush, but now he's getting married. I love her. I really adore her. The way she speaks, she's so animated, she's so natural, and when people tell me I get kilig, at first I didn't see it, and maybe now, because I'm Miss World Philippines, I see it a bit. I think she's brutally honest. She's a bit more aggressive than I am, but I think, that comes with age. And I think she's a wonderful person. She still pursues her advocacies, and you can see that in her content on social media. Her relationship with Nick Jonas, I think all of their supporters and fans and myself, even if I liked him, anyway, we all feel the sincerity of their relationship. I saw him in New York on my last day there, and I was just like, I walked through between they had a circle of bodyguards. I walked through the circle towards him. No one stopped me, and I took a picture. I have it on my phone. I never posted it. Anyway, and then I found out a week later they were getting married. So no chance. Yeah. Hopefully that's an omen. I hope it's an omen.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hi, good luck to you.
Hi, thank you.
What do you think about beauty queens, born and not made, or the other way around?
Do I think they're born and not made, or else made and not born? I think they're definitely made and not born, because it's not all about the face anymore. Of course, that's probably 50% of it. I'll admit that. But nowadays, it's really the substance of a lady, how they answer, their charisma, how they carry themselves, and that comes with experience, and that's made. That's through your whatever life throws at you. So I think it's definitely made. You have to put in the work. There's a saying that my coach in track and field used to tell us, and that's commitment rises above talent. I'd say that's the same thing for beauty pageants. Thank you.
Kat, can you share with us, who's designing your gown, or what kind of gowns you'll be wearing?
Okay, so the wardrobe is such a fun part. It's very stressful because you think, how many muletas am I gonna have? What activities are there? Miss World doesn't give you a list of activities, so that means you have to be very prepared. But I would like a challenge, so challenge accepted. Definitely, I'm working now with stylist Algin Ramos. He helped dress me for my last competition, and he's dressed me a couple of times, but now we're working together. And then my evening gown, I was very flattered and I kind of teared when I saw it. It's Francis Labiran. He made my gown before I even won Miss World Philippines, which shows how much he believed I was going to win. And it's so surreal. I cursed when I saw it. Myself and Mama Mikey, who was with me, and Krishna, my really good friend, we all just were like in awe. And I've known Francis for 4 years. He was the first designer after Top Model who got me for his wedding fashion show in Manila Peninsula. I hadn't met him. I didn't cast. Yung kasama ko si Kelsey Merritt. Her and I, because we were both under PMAP, we were just like, oh my gosh, like how nice of him. I haven't even met him. So when I had just started, I had no idea really how the industry was here in the Philippines yet. He had already gotten me as one of his muses. I opened that segment back. So this is something that he hasn't done. It's a surprise. And then in terms of the wardrobe, right now I'm wearing Mikey Andre. I've been wearing her, she's here. I've been wearing her designs. Oh, she left. Oh. Well, I've been wearing her designs for, also since 2014. And Roosevelt Lee, and the usual designers who I work with. I think that once you develop a relationship with designers, stylists, makeup artists, etc., they know you, they know your face, they know your body, they know how you are, and you also have a confidence in wearing them. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Ethan? Ethan Concepcion, Manila Standard. There are a lot of outstanding Miss World winners like Aishwarya Rai, Priyanka Chopra, and Megan Yan, our very own Megan Yan. Who is your personal favorite, or who do you look up to, Katarina?
You know, I'd say Megan Young because I know her personally. And I think knowing someone on a personal level gives you better insight of who they are. And I met with her maybe 3 weeks ago. I met with Laura yesterday. And Megan gave me a lot of advice, not just with the pageant, but in life. She's really a queen. She's very kind, and she's very thoughtful in what she does and how she works and how she talks to people. And it's something I'm still learning, and I really would love to master that. Oh, my grandparents are here. Yeah, I'd really love to master. Hi, Momsy and Grandpa. There. I really like to master the way Megan handles herself, because she's very sincere, very genuine, and she really wants to know people, and she really considers them. And even in how she answers difficult questions, she's really good. So I would love to know Priyanka Chopra on a personal level, and all other Miss World queens through the past years, just because it's interesting to know someone more personally.
Okay. Among the big pageants abroad, predicting winners, I mean Miss World winners, is the hardest to predict. What can you say about it?
You know what's funny? I feel like the last few winners actually look like Megan. 3 of them, well, Megan, Manushi, and Steph from Puerto Rico, your country on the green, were all our closed-door judges for Miss World Philippines. And when I walked into the room, the first few seconds I was like, wait, which one's Megan? Because they all kind of have similarities. Yeah, they look alike, right? They're like sisters. But you know, I think it's really just meant for whoever wins. I don't think there's anything you can do but do your best. If that's what I've learned, it's that so long as you give your all, you won't regret anything. It's so long as you do what you know you need to do, there should not be any regrets. And I've started that months ago.
Last question. You are a big inspiration to Filipinas who would like to become beauty queen or multi-titleist at the same time. But some of them get hesitant or afraid to join. What advice can you give them?
I think that when you're afraid of something, it's more of just a cloud in your mind. The worst that can happen is that someone will say no, or you won't get it. It's not the end of the world. There's so much out there, and you know, you get excited, and there's so many opportunities, and if you get too attached to something, if you expect too much, that's when you start to begin fearing or becoming hesitant. And if there's anything I've learned the past 26 years of my life, it's that don't waste your time worrying about things that you can't control. Don't waste your time about people who don't like you or situations that are not, you know, beneficial. Do what you need to do. Mentally organize your priorities. What do you need to do? Okay, I need to brush my teeth. Simplify things. It's easier said than done.
Thanks so much and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of this couple who, as Kat said, means so much to her. So, we'd like to acknowledge Katrina's grandparents, Mr. Jack and Miss Sonia Rodriguez. Sure, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Katrina. Hi, everybody. Kumusta po? Good. Buti naman na bigyan ako ng pagkakataon na makilala ko. Is there anybody here from Tuguegarao? I am. I was born in Ugak, small area. I grew up in Kalinga, Bayo. And I'm very proud of Katerina. I'll share with you a personal moment that was a highlight of me being a grandfather. I had 10 grandchildren, 9 granddaughters and 3 grandsons. No, 7. My mathematics is bad. I only went to LaSalle. I didn't study. All I did was play basketball. Anyway, it was a joy watching my granddaughters grow up, especially Katerina. And as I saw them, they all have very good qualities. We tried to instill in them the qualities of respect, of patriotism, or love of our country, humility, that's very important, and kindness. And that's all built into Katrina, I can see that. But one outstanding thing that happened that I want to share with you. She wrote me a letter after she came in only second in the contest in Egypt. Miss Mexico won it. Dalawa lang sila naiwan eh. By the way, if I swear, it's because I had a stroke about 8 weeks ago. You know, I'm lucky I'm still alive. And I'm lucky that being alive gave me the opportunity to meet all of you. And when Katrina said I had to come here today, I'm supposed to have a board meeting. But I never say no to Katrina because she's very important to her grandmother and to her grandfather. Anyway, after she lost, I received a letter from her. And it's something you all should know because it will show you what kind of a person she is. She naturally felt hurt that she lost for her country, but she said, Grandpa, as they put the crown on Miss Mexico, naming her Miss Intercontinental, the crown fell. And somehow before it hit the ground, I picked it up. And I held the crown in my hands. And I felt that I now had the power to give that crown to Miss Mexico. And I put that crown on her head. And at that very moment, I realized I was no longer a child, but a woman. At that moment, she realized she was now a woman. I'm very sentimental about that because there's a moment in life where you cease to become a boy and you become a man, or a little girl and you become a woman.
No.
But very few people know when that moment is. In this case, she shared it with her grandfather. And when I think of that, I become very sentimental. I don't want to talk too much because I can stay here till 8 o'clock at night. But hey, we were just in Marawi. I was in Marawi when the fighting was still going on. I happened to be the president of the Rotary Club of Manila. That's the first club in Asia. And as such, we went there with my fellow member, Rafael Alunan. And we started a mission when nagbabakbakan pa, barilan pa. I came into a room and I saw 8 dead people and it smelled so bad. It was a closed cement room. 8 dead people were there. I went into an alley, there were 16. But we brought with us over 20 doctors and so many nurses, and we operated on 6,300 people. Now this is important for my family because we always want to share the goodness that this country has given us over the years. My family's been here since 1741. We originally came, obviously, from Spain. My father's part Filipino, part Spanish. His grandmother was part Maranao, from Tandag, Surigao. And I was born in Tugigrao. My mother is American. That's why I have this American accent. Because of Mom. But anyway, thanks for being a friend to my granddaughter. If you are a friend to her, I can tell you this. When you're a friend to Katerina or any of my grandchildren, I would love you twice as much as you love her. And I hope this is not the first nor last time that I will meet you. I hope we get to see each other many times again. I know I've met quite a few of you already, but hey, I'm still young. I'll be around. Thank you very much.
I'll just clarify quickly. I shared with him the story first, and then I posted it on Instagram. But he doesn't have Instagram, so he doesn't know that. This is the intercontinental story with the crown. Right, Grandpa? You don't have Instagram.
I'd like to hear a few words from Miss Sonia.
By the way, that's my queen.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I really would like to thank all of you for working so hard, helping my granddaughter, and putting her up in the pedestal to become the Miss World Philippines. Not only the Philippines, but for the world. Because I totally believe that on that day, before she won the Miss World, she asked me one question. Momsy, are you praying for me? And I said, of course, every day. And I always ask the priest, all the religious orders. Every day I go to church, I ask Mama Mary to take care of you and pray the Memorare 8 times. And she will not say, no, this time she's going to do it again. And I told her that since it fell on December 8th, which is the feast of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Mother, let's all pray that she will be granted the title of Miss World on that day. I believe in the power of prayer and I believe in faith. I have 4 sons and I have no daughters. But I ended up having her as my first granddaughter who moved with us from the United States to the Philippines because she wanted to learn Filipino, and of all things she loves the Philippines and she wanted to stay here. I came from Davao. I was born in Davao City. My father is one of the founders of Davao City. And Katerina grew up there for a few years. When she was there, she didn't realize that in a place where we donated an orphanage in Tupok. She was there when she was 3 years old, and the nun that was her age was her playmate when she was 3.
The orphan.
Yes.
She's the nun now.
Yes, and I took care of them. Because she grew up from a father who was a criminal, and I hired him to work for us because the mother left them. So I took care of the 5 kids to go to school and stay in that orphanage. And she stayed there and she became a nun. So when I told her about Katarina, she said, please tell her, I didn't tell you this, to tell her that I will always keep on praying for her to win, because Padre Pio is our congregation, and I'm sure they'll help you and take care of you. So she sends her love to you. So just to tell you that she's from Davao. And also I'd like to tell you, all of you here, that the things that you've been doing, I know it's difficult. It's a hard work. I've seen her work so hard. I don't know how she could handle it. Really, I really don't know. I just pray to God that she'll be given the strength to do all these things. But I believe, and I fully believe, that once she leaves this country, and all of you who are gathered together will help her, because she'll become our Miss World. I fully believe that. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Sonia. One thing we can say, thank you for raising her well. Any reactions?
There, yeah, I had to really include them in my video. The editor was like, do you really need this part? I'm like, of course I need this part. They influenced me so much, and I fought with both of them. Yeah, I fought with both of them, but you know, they understand now, and they think, you know, that's part of growing up, is you want to spend more time with your family. And after all of this, I think, to answer again the question, is after it all, I'd like to spend more time with them and my family. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you, Kat. Any further questions?
Hello, Queen Katarina.
Hi.
I have to say props to the people behind your introduction video. I believe it emphasized how beautiful you are inside and out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
So you are from Davao originally.
Yes.
My question is, being from Davao and being a beauty queen, how do you handle political questions? You know, considering that political questions are very controversial, and if you choose one side, you will lose the other side.
I think that you shouldn't think of it that way. I think it should be thought of trying to understand both sides. Because if your mind is set on supporting an entire side completely without understanding the other side, then you're biased and it's not being fair. And I think as a beauty queen, understanding people is very important, but also staying true to what you feel is right. Your intuition will never do you wrong, so mine hasn't anyway. And with political questions, you know, I study, I read a lot, I spend time with my grandparents, I ask a lot of questions, I'm very inquisitive, and I listen. So when I train for Q&A, especially the political part, I ask so many different types of people. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Because I want the stock knowledge of a larger perspective and be able to connect everything.
Thank you. A second and last question. Your advocacy is HIV awareness.
That's one of them, yes.
One of your advocacies. So how do you assess HIV awareness in the Philippines right now?
It's quite a big deal. It has been. I've worked with the Red Whistle organization founded by Nicola Cosme, fashion photographer Nicola Cosme, who's become such a great friend to me. He's helped me so much. He helped me initiate my Marawi Beauty with a Purpose project. And my assessment is that it's increasing because of the lack of knowledge. Sexual education is not implemented as part of the curriculum in our schools, and that's something that should be revised, because I was lucky enough to have studied those years that are importantly connected to you know, developing as a woman in the States, and that was part of our curriculum, so I understood HIV/AIDS. I understood, the different sexual diseases that could happen if you're not safe. I think, going around with the red whistle, with Safe Sexy, that's what the organization is called, #SafeSexy, and because we've gone around to many provinces since 2014, different cities, Cebu, Davao, Zamboanga, Fort, CDO, so many different places to hold free testing. And the first step is really knowing your status. I get tested once every 6 months, regardless if anything, I just get tested, just so I know my status. And I strongly believe education is the secret, the answer to everything. Not just HIV/AIDS, but violence and anything that's negative towards our humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Thank you. Hi.
Friends from World Philippines. As we know that there's a segment, Dances of the World, in the Miss World Philippines. Are you auditioning?
Of course I am. Francis is making my national costume, and you're all used to him making Filipinianas. Always gorgeous and beautiful. And we're doing something different now. It's something we've talked about before, pintados. And I enjoyed learning my dance routine. I'm very excited for the national costume. And this is something that brings life to me. It's something that's not heavy in the pageant. I'm actually quite looking forward to that and the fitness challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you.